perimeter and area of composite figures with Pythagorean theorem. Example number 1A. All right, so our first question here says, calculate the perimeter and area for each of the following shapes. So when I look at this, I notice that it is a shape that has 4 sides. And there are 2 ways to look at this shape. Number 1, we could say this looks like it is made up of a rectangle on the left and a triangle on the right. And we could do 2 shapes combined. Option number 2, this shape is actually a trapezoid. So even though they're not marked as parallel, because these are both 90 degrees, these 2 sides are indeed parallel. And this is a 4-sided shape with 2 parallel sides. So we could do this as a trapezoid, or like I said, we could do it as a separate rectangle and a triangle. But either way, in order to do perimeter, all I really need to do is just add up my 4 outside edges. Now, the problem is I only know 3 of them, and I'm going to need to do something to figure out that 4th side there that I don't currently know. So when I look at the picture, I don't think that this is 5. This is a slanted side, this is not a slanted side, and this looks longer than the other side. So I really don't think that's what's happening there. What I can do is I can take this side here and draw it in on the other side of the rectangle portion. So if I draw this in at 90 degrees, and then what that does is it creates a little right angle triangle on this side that we could maybe use Pythagorean theorem with. So if I were to take this triangle over here, I'm going to see if we can calculate what that missing height is by using Pythagorean theorem. Now, the problem is I don't currently know what that side is. But I do have a measurement here that says that this whole side is 10 meters. And then this top little bit here is 7 meters, which means this section down here is also 7 meters. So I could take 10 meters minus 7 meters to get that section there is 3 meters long. Now that I know that, I'm going to label the hypotenuse, the one across from the right angle, as side C. One of these is A and one of them is B. I'm going to let the unknown side be A, and then because this is the base, I'm going to let that be B. And I'm going to, in the space where it says missing dimensions, try to calculate that side length using Pythagorean theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A, I don't know. I'm going to leave it as A. B is 3 squared, and C is 5 squared. So A squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared. A squared, I cannot square, but 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. And 5 squared, 5 times 5 is 25. I can solve for A by subtracting 9 from both sides to cancel out that plus 9. So I get A squared equals 25 take away 9 is 16. And then to cancel out that square, I do a square root of both sides. So the square root of 16 is 4 meters, which means that this distance here is 4 meters, and then this distance here is 4 meters. So now if I want to find the perimeter, all you do is you just add up all of your outside edges. Now, normally I would do A plus B plus C plus D, but we've already used A, B's, and C's, and that gets a little confusing. So maybe I will make up some different letters, and we can use those instead. So let's try W, X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to do perimeter is W plus X plus Y plus Z. All right, so my W is 7, my X is 5, my Y, we're ignoring this 3, the whole distance across the bottom is 10, and then that side that we found that was missing was 4. Now I didn't add the inside part, we're only doing the outside edges. So 7 plus 5 plus 10 plus 4 gives me a grand total of 26 meters. So the perimeter is 26 meters. All right, to do the area, this is where I have to make a choice. I can look at it as a trapezoid, or I can look at it as a separate triangle and a rectangle. Now, it's less work to look at it as a trapezoid, so I think that's what we might try doing. So if I take a look at the formula for a trapezoid, I see that we have A, B, C, D, and height. So this part here is the height, which is actually that side as well. And then this would be A, B. They're the two parallel sides. And then C and D would be these ones here. I need to find another color to label yet another side. So I'm going to call this H, this A, this B, this C, and D. Gets a little confusing with all the letters that we already have on this formula. Sorry, on our diagram. All right, so the formula for area is A plus B times height divided by 2. I don't really like the one on the bottom, so we're just going to use the one that's on the top. So the area is A plus B times height divided by 2. So A is 7, B is 10, times my height, which is 4, and then divided by 2. So I would recommend doing the addition in the bracket first, and then we'll use our calculator. So 7 plus 10 is 17. So I have 17 times 4 divided by 2. So 17 times 4 divided by 2 is 34. So our area is 34 meters squared. You can check out the next video if you want to figure out how to do 1B.